Fishermen always go after the small fish when they want to catch the big ones. The small fish stay close to bigger ones, trying to take advantage of them without knowing that pretty soon they will become their lunch.
This is the face plastered across Germany. Tonight, Anas Amri, a 23-year-old Tunisian national called armed and violent, associated with Islamic terror networks.
Arben Cani is the general director of Albanian Immigrants Association in Greece. He is also an underground member of both associations of Maksim, Ferra and Fatmir Sena. The video involving him on giving some sort of documents to terrorists is circulating for quite some time underground the mainstream media.
And in August he was reportedly arrested, but then released by a judge after presenting fake documents, and then disappeared.
This is the secret recording where he admits that someone got registered as a member of their organization and got arrested for a really heavy crime in Germany. Believe it or not, it was for terrorism. Arben and the person recording the video. That one of Berlin created huge troubles to us.
How? What is this about?
The one that committed the terrorist attack in Germany. He had his documents in our group. He took documents here.
Was he caught there or what?
Don't you know, he exploded a bomb there. He came here in Greece. He had his documents from us and went in Germany.
Now the manhunt sparking fresh criticism of German Chancellor Angela Merkel, under fire for her decision to open German borders to nearly 1 million migrants.
Beno, ta që këtu në rrugat vetë për Shqipëri apo të kthesh majtës për Shqipëri? Kushe? Për Shqipëri, për do ka vi.
Jo, po pyet, e di që s'ke puti, po pyet, këtu është rruga thot.
Jo. Ani ka tjetër.
Berlin's agony is clear. In a week that should be full of festivities, the city's residents are laying flowers in memory of victims they didn't know, knowing it could quite easily have been them. One victim is thought to be 31-year-old Fabrizia Di Lorenzo from Italy.
Who is the boss of bosses in the Albanian Mafia? The guy's name running the show is Fatmir Sena. Next to him is Faz Shabaj. Asylum documents were falsified. The Shkodra prosecutor's office is taking 12 people to court. 25 February 2014. The prosecution of the Shkodra Judicial District sends for trial the request to the Mayor of Postriba, Faz Shabaj. The Secretary of the Association of Peace Missionaries, Nikoll Shullani. 3 elders and 7 citizens, all accused of forging documents in order to obtain asylum in Belgium. The above persons, through forged documents, have issued forged certificates, as if they were involved in blood feuds. The investigation has shown that the facts presented in the documentation are all untrue. The Mayor of Postriba and the Secretary of the Association of Peace Missionaries are accused of having committed this crime in at least 7 cases. The prosecution at the Shkodra Court of First Instance starts the trial against the defendants, Faz Shabaj, Mayor of Postriba, accused of committing the criminal offense of forgery of documents 6 times committed in collaboration. Nikoll Shullani, Secretary of the Association of Missionaries of Peace and Reconciliation of Albania, accused of committing the criminal offense of forgery of documents 7 times committed in collaboration, provided by Article 186 thirds and 25 of the Criminal Code. Faz Shabaj, accused of committing the criminal offense of forgery of documents committed in collaboration, provided by Article 186 thirds and 25 of the Criminal Code. The prosecution says it has identified a number of cases where village mayors have issued forged certificates. One of the fabricated stories is the one presented in September 30, 2011. Arhas killed with a firearm for weak motives for a momentary confusion the citizen QT from the village of Drisht in Postriba commune. For this occasion, the Association Missionaries of Peace and Reconciliation of Albania has submitted a photocopy of the certificate issued by the mayor of the village Drisht and the mayor of Postriba Faz Shabaj. All the information presented in the certificate has been denied by the brother of the person for whom the document was issued. From the 3-year investigation of the Shkodra prosecutor's office, at least 7 cases have been proven when the defendants have issued certificates with false data in order to present them to the EU countries for the provision of asylum by interested persons. Operational codename Asylum Seeker. Criminal proceedings initiated against the chairman of the Committee for Nationwide Reconciliation, Jin Marku, after being accused of issuing false certificates for blood feuds. The person was detained at the border crossing point in Renas Airport. He possessed documents issued by the Nationwide Reconciliation Committee. Albanian journalists are constantly reporting threats coming from a single point. Fatmir Sena organization. Jin Marku seems to hide from the connections with Fatmir Sena organization. But who is Fatmir Sena, and where in the world did he came from? He was one of the first members of the NGO created by Maksim Ferra. After hundreds of denunciations against their self-proclaimed pro-justice and anti-crime organization, Fatmir Sena left behind Maksim Ferra NGO and started his own, making a clever move. He named his organization with almost the same name by only changing some paragraphs. The name stays the same: Stop Crime. Fatmir Sena's invisible background consists in a huge group of corrupt police officers and ex-members of the Albanian secret services. 99% of them fired from their job for implications on corruption cases. The guy very close to Fatmir Sena is Veli Muftari, the ex-general director of the Albanian state police. In the court session, the Criminal College of the High Court of Albania considered the criminal case related to the criminal offense of abuse of duty by the former General Director of the Albanian State Police, Veli Muftari, in cooperation with several other persons for the crimes of violating the equality of participants in public tenders and forgery of documents committed in cooperation, provided by Articles 258 and 186-2. Decision of the Penal College of the High Court. Conviction of Veli Muftari for the crime of abuse of duty, based on Article 248 of the Criminal Code. The court sentences Veli Muftari, former General Director of the State Police, to 1 year and 3 months of imprisonment. Now, openly a member of the gang of Fatmir Sena, he smiles and seems to be more than happy. The abuse amount from the Albanian taxpayers' money he was sentenced for was more than $1 million. The person gets murdered in the Netherlands. International investigations are underway. A document of Max Ferra organization was found in the possession of involved person in the murder in the Netherlands. Urges Jogji, the arrested brother-in-law of Dritten Didi, was provided with such a document. A new face gets plastered all over the news in Albania. Dritten Didi kills 4 police officers. Urges Jogji's brother-in-law Dritten Didi appears before the Albanian criminal court for the murder of 4 police officers. The prosecution demands a life sentence for every murder committed by Dritten Didi. Urges Jogji's brother-in-law. Fatmir Sena starts hiding. Nobody can find him. Fatmir Sena illegal activities background originate from the Maksim Ferra organization. Balkan Web newspaper in the article of the date 12 December of the year 2014 published the news about Maksim Ferra case under the title, "He was distributing anti-terror documents. Under investigation the official of the Center Against Terrorism." The section for economic and financial crime in the Tirana police initiated criminal proceedings against 2 persons after the suspicions that they were distributing forged documents as anti-terror employees. One of them a former employee of the Center Against Terrorism. From the data collected so far by the judicial police officers, it is suspected that Maksim Ferra and Ili Tosca, in exchange for large sums of money, provided to various persons forged documents. Ever thought you are being spied? Like, someone is watching you without you know it. You are right. Someone is watching you. In Albania there is always someone watching you. Secretly. They are not always your neighbors. Sometimes they are your relatives, your best friends, your competitors. It doesn't feel fair. Well, it isn't fair at all. But this is always how it works when it comes on spying. Albanian secret services are well known for the notorious background of using relatives to spy on people. This is a spy conversation with someone spying on her own cousin. Or at least this is what she thinks she is trying to do, while trying to justify her evil intentions as spying duty. It is a surprising fact that it is as clear as the sunshine that 99% of the information given by this spying Albanian jealous cousin is not true at all. The information in this case and a lot of other cases is given to Max Ferra, someone who sells spy association papers, for the price of hundreds till thousands of euros per year. Surprising but practically as surprising that Max Ferra is doing this for a long time, not too far away from the headquarters of the official secret services. It really seems that spying on others, with the true purpose of hurting them is a damn good business. And Max Ferra is for sure doing his best on exploiting this old bad habit of the eccentric inhabitants of the quasi-European country. When people expose Max Ferra about his criminal activities regarding on spying, he always, at first, uses the first step of warning. The voices get initially silenced by using his connections with the corrupt policemen of his organization working in the Albanian police by very easily starting penal incriminations against them, something that for the average of inhabitants of the country is very difficult, even in the most necessary cases. But some of the voices are difficult to get silenced. The only ones who fight him back with the seemingly effective tools are the ones counter-spying on him and not the ones exposing him using denunciations in the Albanian police. In the end of the day this is what he does for a living, so normally it shouldn't bother him at all when it comes on spying on him and his informant too. No. It seems right. Well, either if it is, or it isn't right, it seems damn right according to the karma rules. Max Ferra has been spying on a lot of people during his career. Among them, journalists, artists, well-known businessmen and businesswomen, players, hotel owners, justice students, embassies, translators, embassies, important employees and all sorts of citizens. One of them is Frakchuti. Another one is the owner of a well-known beauty center, Anila Kaleshi. but the newspapers never mentioned about Max Ferra is that the top secret spying documents of the people he is secretly spying, without the legal right to do so, are nowadays at his home and his office. Normally he should be in jail for possessing such kind of documents. But this is Albania. In Albania usually it is the victim that goes to jail, and not the criminals, and you can clearly see it happening, seeing Max Ferra walk around in the streets, free like a bird. Walking like a scared old bird without all of his teeth in his mouth, but important to him is that he is indeed still free after all. Quite strange for an employee of the Informative Service of Albania, because it is known that the Albanian Informative Service officially declares that all of its employees can go to a dentist of their choice at the expenses of the state. In this case, Frokt Supi fell a victim of the political clan he was and is, actually, supporting the Socialist Party of Albania, but Anila Kaleshi. Anila Kaleshi phone was bugged with the justification of involvement in espionage and a case of some sort of documents. Performed by the inspector until 30 December of the year 2005. Controlled by branch president Hilmi Muharremi, EPTR 179 withdrawn, continuously informed in the direction of this subject and his connection Anila Kaleshi. To deepen the information given earlier, its reliability, BP will be given a studied line of conduct to create the appropriate conditions for the interception of conversations with MTO between him and Anila Kaleshi. Informative report, sheet 2. Destination: Directorate of K-Espionage, Research and Analysis Branch. 14/6 of the year 2004. Phone conversation between Shkodra Judicial and Anila Kaleshi in Albania. Anila speaking. Hello, how are you? Shkodra Judicial. I was in the elevator and I went home. 2 minutes ago, I was thinking about where are you? I don't know why. Anila speaking. I was in Dur City with my home people. How was for you? Shkodra Judicial. Now I'll go down to watch the match here in the bar because they have a big screen there. Anila. What else did you do? Shkodra Judicial. I had a little work today. Anila. Didn't you move at all today? Shkodra Judicial. No, I did not move at all. I only was at the store and I bought something. I came back, I rested a bit, and I had some work to fix. I'm going out. I turned from the elevator because I heard the ring. Anila. Oh. Were you coming out? Shkodra Judicial. I was in the elevator. Anila. Well, then. I just wanted to hear your voice. Source of the information comment. 3. Explanatory and supplementary data. Shkodra Judicial is an advisor at the Embassy of Serbia and Montenegro in Tirana. He is being followed by the DSI. Anila Kaleshi has data in the DAI. Do you remember the IMSI catcher? IMSI catcher is a device, or that model. In one word, the eavesdropping suitcase. We are speaking in the thick language, because IMSI catcher is the brand of the product, Israeli brand of production. That suitcase is not allowed to be bought without a state decision to circulate from a state to another without approval, not just of the two states, but must be registered when you are a member of NATO to the NATO list. Not allowed, you cannot take it as a NATO member, not even one for the police, such a tool, without declaring it to the NATO. The serial number, it is known that NATO must have it under control, because there is a protocol that doesn't work otherwise. And the Italian Mafia, but the Albanian Mafia, well saying that in Albania, the Mafia governs, the Italian Mafia made it by secret ways to make it enter Italy in Albania, an IMSI catcher, at their service. And used it privately. Not only bypassing it as a tool that doesn't do such things, but only for exercise, but they also used it privately. So, when these things happen, those things are things that don't even make sense. For within Albania, but in reality, they are a scandal. They show the rule of an amorphous state, where the mafia does as it pleases. They used it privately, to the point that when a NATO summit was taking place, a NATO summit was held in Tirana. When NATO foreign men came, on their behalf, the NATO drone passed over and monitored Tirana and Albania. And the drone, which is a pretty much better bitch bird than the IMSI catcher of these peasants of ours, which it only costs $30,000. Because this is how much an IMSI catcher it cost, despite not being allowed to be bought. Without government decisions and the NATO approval, the drone caught not only one, but 2 eavesdropping suitcases in Albania. One of them has not yet been mentioned because they, the mafia guys, showed themselves to be pretty smart bitch birds. They made backwards, they took it immediately out of Albania, and I also know at whose service it has been. The mafias. The IMSI catcher being in the mafia's hands, it was a problem. NATO said X personal number because they have a personal number, just like the phone. The eavesdropping is exercising activity in the Albanian territory, and the number is declared. What is it? Who is it? How is it? And the first 2 words flowed, and it exploded, to the point that they were even taken for trial. In Albania, everything is possible, I told you, as long as you are at service of someone evil. My name is Adrian Cucci. I am from Baird. I live in Milan, in the city of Milan in Italy. On December 15th, my parents, Cristo Cucci and Telenza Cucci, sent my brother to the hospital in Baird. And there the doctor, without doing the analysis, fabricated diphtheria illness and sent them immediately in Tirana, in the hospital of Tirana. And there, the chief together with the other doctor visit and isolate my brother in the intensive care unit. I was also there, in Tirana. I saw him there myself. They put him in the box and did not allow us approach at all. My cousins pushed me away. There was my uncle too, who was also a former colonel of the Albanian army. He worked in the Ministry of Defense. Another uncle of mine was also there. They were my uncles, Kuadam Chorai and Arben Chorai. Kuadam Chorai is my uncle. He is my mom's brother. And his daughter, Heroina Rucci, works at Stop Crimey. Kuadam Chorai has changed both his name and his surname. I mean, he changed it completely and made it Cristo Rucci. He has completely changed both his name and surname. He made his surname Rucci. The whole family changed it. I do not know if this can be done in Albania. And this has been the part where many doubts have been raised. And I dissociated from them because they were all corrupt. I doubted them very much. It all seemed very suspicious because everything seemed organized. I suspect that behind my cousins and my uncles probably hides a deputy. I suspect it was something organized in the Baird city administration. Corrupt doctors, both in the Baird and the Tirana hospitals. And also in the Velebisht municipal, where they registered the certificate. Where it was written that my brother died at home. He didn't die there. They probably took him somewhere. And where exactly they sent him, I sincerely don't know. The last time I saw him, it was in the Tirana hospital. At Teresa Hospital. He was isolated there in the intensive care unit. He was in the intensive care unit. And the doctors didn't let us approach. My cousin wrote in the death certificate that my brother died in my house in Drobnik of Baird. It means he lied. They probably took my brother alive and took him somewhere else, probably in another place. They pushed me away and didn't allow me approach my brother at all. Neither my parents, my uncles weren't allowing it. They were in a group. There were 20 of them in Tirana in the intensive care unit. They probably wanted to save their own children. Probably for organ trafficking. I have always had doubts, because when they brought the coffin, they wouldn't even let me see him. They brought the coffin to Drobnik, but didn't open it. I do not even know if it was my own brother inside or not. The coffin was not opened at all. They brought it closed and did not allow me to open it. Eroina Ricci's father, Kudum, and my uncle did not allow me. They did not allow me, together with the other one who signed the death certificate, my cousin. All three of them didn't allow me to open the coffin. Then they told me, you should not open it, because the doctor does not want to. But they didn't give me a document with a reason it shouldn't be opened. I told them I want to know if he is inside the coffin. Eroina Ricci took her position in the fake stop crime agency in the 11th of November off year 2020, after her predecessor, Elvira Lani, got arrested for the second time. Elvira Lani was previously already arrested in year 2017 and was being trialed on bail for her previous crimes when she finally got her hands definitively tied on handcuffs. It seems that the superficial head of the Albanian stop crime fake agency, Fatmir Sena, and lived without his criminal females, which actually occupy most of his criminal organization. If they thought diphtheria was deadly, the police had to be present. Police was not present. And representatives from the hospital should be present also. The doctors had to immediately call the police and say it was a dangerous disease. Everything had to be isolated completely, which didn't happen. Probably they planned to kill my brother to save other persons. Back in 2019, in March 2019, I called my father after doing a lot of investigations. I talked to the doctors in Italy, I talked with judges, with prosecutors, with police inspectors, and anti-mafia prosecutors. I explained them all the details and I told my father about it. He was working in Greece at the time. I asked my father why our cousin got Sami's kidney. My dad told me that he also had some suspicions that something happened in Tirana, because the doctors pushed me away, took Sami, and displaced him somewhere else. There have been doubts about this the entire period of this time. I was investigating. I was asking around, because my cousin from Barrett had his daughter sick and was looking for kidney for his daughter. These are actually words spread by my cousins. My father told me, I will talk to my brother, and I will also talk to Kudum Chorai. Kudum Chorai is the father of Eroina Ricci. He is my uncle. I will talk to both of them, he said, and I will question them in more details. I told my father that I am going to denounce them. And I'm going to start a trial for my brother's death. After talking to his brother, Zain Kuchi, and to his brother-in-law Kudum Chorai, Then days after, Kudam Chorai, together with his daughter Heroina Ricci and Fatmir Sena, threw my father in the well. Heroina Ricci worked at Stop Crime with Fatmir Sena. Probably threw him in there and walked away. He does not talk about this, because he is afraid. He is very scared. He is afraid. So afraid, he even says I fell into the well by myself. No one threw me, he says. He is clearly afraid to talk. He does not talk about this. The well was very narrow. It was very hard for someone to be in there. I don't even know how they made it to put him in there. He was 10 feet deep. 2 firefighters groups came to pull him out of there. The Greek police also came there to pull him out of the well because he really couldn't get out. In Corfu, in Greece. That's where this happened. This story has also appeared in the Greek newspapers. It was 8 of April 2019. Immediately after I told my father about my talk with the Italian anti-mafia. Then days after, I suspect these guys kidnapped him and threw him into the well. Right after this, many people working at Stop Crime started persecuting me in Milano. I was being followed in every place I was going, but I didn't know at first who they were. Because I had not seen them before. I didn't recognize them. On April 13th, I denounced my father's story. The story in which he was thrown into the well in Greece. I asked from the Albanian police through the digital police station to go and interrogate the person from Lushnja, who was living with my father in Greece. I denounced him. Lushnja police went and interrogated the person for the story of the well that happened to my father in Greece. Police immediately asked him an explanation about what happened. Then, as they were not giving me an answer, the guys started with blackmail. And after this, my cousins and Fatmir Sena's group kept hunting me in every corner. But I didn't yet know it was this agency. I usually used to see girls working for Fatmir Sena and all the people who persecuted me in Milan. I saw them with my own eyes, surveying me from far away. And this still goes on. Fatmir Sena keeps persecuting my family in Milan even today. I don't know where does he find all this money to spend for bringing his people here in Milano from Tirana to persecute my family. I don't understand this. There were 3 times when I went to a park, paid and armed people came around me, but I immediately left. I did not stay there for a long time. I didn't give to the people sent by Fatmir Sena here in Milan the opportunity to make possible any assassination attempt, I mean physically, and I now recognize those 2 guys. I know them very well because they were 2 guys from Baird. I met them in Baird. There were 2 armed people there and I left immediately. Armed, they had weapons. They always approach differently, with knives or syringes. I'm always moving fast in these situations because they wait for the right moment when there are no people around, or in different other ways. They always bring different people because, as he says about the agency, there's a lot of people working there. And he also changed them. Because he is afraid, because I often call the police in these cases, if it is given any opportunity to me to do that, and they know that I'm going to immediately inform the Carabinieri, the Italian police. And many times, these people who followed me were actually stopped by the Italian police. The Italian police has always stopped the people he sends. They understand that I don't give them any opportunity and leave. Fatmir Sena also uses this, his system, Mafia style. Sending girls to send me into traps. The Nazi ideas are also part of the same criminal organization. guy's name is Beneldo Gelli. He is not just another random guy at the Stop Crime NGO. He is Daniela Ricci's fiancé, Heroina Ricci's sister. Daniela is also a member of the same criminal organization, and the threats coming from his cousins Adrian Cucci mentioned are real. This is Daniela Ricci's voice, committing the crime of threatening to murder someone, using a lot of hate speech with the evil intention of silencing the voice of someone's efforts to find answers for the suspicious death of his brother. This is actually Daniela Ricci's in-person voice, warning and threatening to kill, showing no respect for the victim's family.
I am going to get rid of you. If you care so much about that brother of yours that went off this world, I will take you there too very soon, so you make company to him. You were shaking like trash at the hospital that day.
It is obvious that Daniela Ricci is a member of the same criminal organization, camouflaged as a beneficiary NGO. She seems to be not much different from her sister Heroina Ricci. Years ago, the well-known video platform LiveLeak showed Heroina Ricci with another member of the same NGO, the Italian Giancarlo Fusco, in a scandalous video where both of Stop Crime members, Ricci and Fusco, were caught in action from the cameras of a shopping mall while having a grotesque sexual intercourse.
la 23. E Giuseppe, la 23, corri. Va, oggi sono a Fichisedo. Mo. Sì, stanno trombando. Sì, mo no. Ma finora sì. Sì, ti giuro. Sì, sempre. Questa è la seconda volta. Mo devo chiamare il direttore.
The Italian camera guy clearly mentions that this is not the first, but the second time he is noticing this bizarre event, with both same protagonists in the area he is surveying. But the interesting fact is not that much a penally punishable act of sexual intercourse in public places. The freaky part is while having sex under the cameras of the shopping mall, it seems they are actually trying to confuse the camera view about what else they might be doing there. They are suspiciously touching various products. Knowing about their criminal background and their terrorist organization, Stop Crimey, covered as Albanian NGO, with obvious connections with the Italian Mafia, big concerns have been raised about the possibility, as well-known Italo-Albanian Mafia guys, the Albanian Heroina Rucci and the Italian Giancarlo Fusco, in this video could be not just having sex in a public place or pretending to have sex while stealing some expensive products, but actually possibly spreading unknown dangerous substances in the most dangerous place for this kind of crime, concerning the public health. People getting ill and even dying after Heroina Rucci's this kind of bizarre events presence are not a new thing. Who was the first one who was introduced to you from these guys? A friend of mine in an online group. She told me, I will help you. I will make you a document so you can go to the USA. Who was the person who did you the offer to take money from you to do this thing? Nikoll Shullani. I got everything documented. He got the money with Western Union transfer. I gave the documents to the Greek police. I have the document from the Greek police saying he is being investigated from them. Not only him, it's their whole group. Fatmir Sena, and that woman here in Greece. What the hell do they call her? The one from the Shkodra city. Fefidis Skartados. I denounced her too, with addresses and everything. And police, later on, made a call and asked me again. Where is their group center? Or whatever the hell they have there. I told to the police one more time their address. About Nikoll Shullani and Fatmir Sena, they told me, the best thing for you to do would actually be to continue following a denunciation in Albania as well, so the Albanian police can communicate with the Greek police. How long ago did this happen? This happened a year and a half ago. Last year's March. I did the denunciation in 4 of July. I was threatened with a knife to withdraw the denunciation in front of my house as I was getting out of home to go at work. As it all happened, that they took all this money from me. After I talked to his son, 2 persons came to me. It was in the morning, too early. It was my uncle too, who was also a former colonel of the Albanian army. He worked in the Ministry of Defense. The coffin was not opened at all. They brought it closed and did not allow me to open it. Heroina Rucci's father, Kuidam, and my uncle did not allow me. In 25 July of 2011, one of the most well-known newspapers in Albania, Panorama newspaper, published an article with author Zane Kuqi. The title of the article, Bomb Under the Skin, the New Terrorist's Weapon. Zane Kuqi writes about a bomb of a very small size, in the size of a pharmaceutical pill. The bomb is placed in the human body, in women, in the female organ, in men, on the back of them. The explosive system of this bomb is done with the help of a mobile phone. Colonel Zane Kuqi, publicly introducing himself as a security expert with the position of the advisor of the Chief of General Headquarters of the Albanian Army, and as a former pilot's trainer he was in the past, in this article, published in one of the most famous official newspapers in Albania, is warning the entire world of a bomb of the size of a tiny pill, which man put it inside their anus, and with the help of a cell phone, make it explode, crashing planes, performing in this way the penally punishable act of publicly spreading extremely sensitive disinformation and panic through the media. The origin of this article comes from the similar, but not same, article of Michael Crowley, an American journalist who is a White House correspondent for the New York Times. Until May 2019, he was White House and National Security Editor for Politico. From 2010 to 2014, served as the Senior Foreign Affairs Correspondent and Deputy Washington, D.C. Bureau Chief for Time magazine and was Senior Foreign Affairs Correspondent for Politico. In the end of this article it is made clear that this scenario is speculative. The article says that in the case of an al-Qaeda-connected militant named Abdullah Asiri, who instead of surrendering, exploded, at first, they were convinced the explosive had been hidden in Asiri's anal cavity, a scenario that other security experts didn't discount. After further investigation, the Saudis concluded that Asiri didn't have a butt bomb after all, but rather that he stashed the explosive in his underwear much like Abdul Mutalab. The tiny butt bomb, in the size of a pill, never existed, as Zain Kuchi said in his article, in the Albanian official media, spreading panic and sensitive disinformation. Colonel Zain Kuchi was never trialed nor punished for this intolerable kind of a crime for a military man. Spreading disinformation, fear, and generally fake news in Albania is a crime for which people get usually at least trialed and heavily fined, but in the case which resembles the case of a military man, can go even in the military high court and should normally be punished with jail. Fishermen always go after the small fish when they want to catch the big ones. The small fish stay close to bigger ones, trying to take advantage of them without knowing that pretty soon they will become their lunch.